Hey guys, Danny Johnson here, and today we're looking at the DeWalt DCR025 Bluetooth Radio Job Site Charger. We'll be referring to the owner-operator manual, and I'll put a link in the description where you can find it, so make sure you read through it in case I miss anything. And so this is a radio. It's also designed to charge batteries or operate off of the battery. So you'll see it has the power cable in the back, and so when you plug that into an outlet, you now can charge the battery. You'll have to move the antenna here out of the way. And so now we'll take our 20-volt battery and just slide it right into the back until it clicks into place. So now you can operate the radio off of that battery, or when it's plugged into the wall, it'll charge it. So it also accepts the flex volt batteries, if you wanted to know that. So the 60-volt/20-volt flex volt batteries are okay to run in this as well. So just remember to put the cover back in place when you're transporting the batteries around otherwise, and refer to the operator manual for all of the warnings and instructions. A lot of the manual for this radio will cover the battery charging and transporting and everything like that. So we're going to go ahead and turn this around, and the center volume knob is how you turn it on. So you just push down on that button. One thing I did notice is the display is pretty hard to read from straight on. It's easier to read when you're looking down onto it. So as you can see, it kind of fades away. So looking at it from the top down is what I noticed. So the display can be kind of hard to read at times. For setting the clock, it's a little tricky because you have to actually hold the clock button down within 5 seconds of turning it on. So from here, you'll hit the arrow buttons over to change what you want to, and then just hit the clock button again to go on to the next field. And again, I apologize, it's hard to see on this because you have to be looking at it more from the top rather than straight on. Next, to pair your phone with Bluetooth, it's very simple. You're just going to hold the Bluetooth button down. So when you hold it down, it'll start to flash, and it's sending out a signal. So now on your phone, you're going to go to your settings and click on Settings. You're going to click on Bluetooth. Make sure Bluetooth is turned on, and it shows you everything that's available. And if you saw that DCR025 popped up at the bottom, so you just click on it, and it will now pair it to your phone. And so now your music will work from your phone wirelessly. So it will say BT at the top left for Bluetooth, so that you know that you're on that setting. And so very easy, just play it on your phone. The volume will be different on your phone as you turn it up, and also on the knob. Okay, next as you click mode, we can go into the different radios for FM 1 and 2. We're just clicking that arrow button over to get to the station that we want to, and then to hit the preset, we just hold the number 1 down, for example. Top right, it'll say number 1. As we hit number 2, you'll see the top right, it says number 2. And we're just hitting that arrow button over to get to the radio station that we want. And once you're on it, just hold that button down, and that will set the station to number 2. And so it'll do the same going all the way down through the different numbers. So very easy to set the radio. Okay, next we're going to talk about the modes here. So we're going from radio to FM, AM, and now auxiliary. Now when you click on the auxiliary one, we're going to go into our little storage bin down here. So you'll notice on the left it has a USB, on the right it has the phone jack. And so when you open the cover by pushing that button down, you'll notice over here on the left you have the auxiliary jack and then the USB below it. Now only the auxiliary jack is going to work for this auxiliary. So plugging your phone in with a USB will only charge it. So if you have one of these attachments, the old school phone jack type ones for your headphones or whatnot, you need one that has the same attachment on each end. So you'll plug one end into the radio itself, and then the other end of the auxiliary cord, which should be the same, will go into the headphone jack if you have an older iPod or something like this. So that's how that's going to work. And so when it's on auxiliary, now your music will play, but that's the only way you get it to play other than the Bluetooth. As for the USB cable, we're going to go ahead and plug this one in, and you'll notice when we plug it into a cell phone, it charges it, but it doesn't play music. So that's what the USB is for on that one, is just a charger. Okay, so again, we put this on here just to show you that it's not doing anything but charging it. Now, I do like the storage bin. I wish that they had maybe a slit in the side so the cord could come out without the door having to be open, so the door does have to be open. It has a lot of storage space in here for some items like your wallet or even some extra tools, and so maybe they want to keep it dry so there's no slits in it. But as we turn it around next, let's go over these different power outlets. It's a little deceiving when you plug one in and you think this is great, I'm going to run a tool, then you find out it does not run the tool. And so these outlets actually do not work at all unless the radio is plugged into the wall. So you notice too, if we thought maybe it's just something that's less power, nope, same thing. It does not power even a cell phone or anything. And so what you'll also notice is this tool is 12 amps for your average reciprocating saw here, your Sawzall. And so this is actually only rated at 10 amps per each of those. So once we plug it into the wall, you'll see it starts flashing because we're charging the battery. It also has some indications up top of why it might not be charging or when it's done charging. But now with it plugged in, now we get power. So the power outlets on the side only work when the radio is plugged into the wall for your regular outlet. So the way that you want to consider these outlets is really just as an extension cord. So once the radio is plugged into the wall, it will work. And again, it says it's only good for 10 amps and we have a 12 amp tool, so I wouldn't even run it this way. I just want to show you that it works with power only. So now with the battery pack in the back here, and it plugged into the wall, you can see it flashing red as it's charging the battery. So this is known as basically a battery charger, but you can also operate the radio on battery only. So as you can see, our indication, we have a solid red, meaning that the battery pack is charged. We're still plugged into the wall, so the light's on, and it gives you the other symbols there for if it were charging or if it was too hot or too cold. Okay, next we have a mute button. If you ever needed to use that, other than just turning it off, I'd probably just do that. But anyway, going through the other equalizer buttons too, we can adjust the bass and the treble. So as soon as it hits bass or treble, you just use the arrow buttons to go from a -3 up to a +3. So that's the settings that they allow for the equalizer, just to kind of change it around. So anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this video. As you can see, again, I was a little surprised it has to be plugged into an outlet for these side outlets to work, even for charging a phone or whatnot. So basically just consider that as an extension cord is what it is. I thought, hey, I'd be able to put in my flex volt and, take this to a junkyard and be able to plug it in, one of my tools into the side of it and use it remotely, but that's not the case. So this is basically just a radio. It has a battery pack that you can put in the back, and this tool will either charge it when it's plugged in or play the radio off of that battery, and then you have outlets on the side that are only intended for when it is plugged into your wall outlet. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please check the video description. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I have a playlist with other videos that are similar to this. Thanks, guys.